Indiana Jones and the Sword of the Shogun. The story kicks off with a prologue that delves into the history of the Honjo Masamune. Forged in the 13th century by the great swordsmith Masamune, it became the ceremonial sword of the ruling Tokugawa shoguns for 250 years. After their fall from power in 1868, the great sword continued to be passed down to generations into the 20th century. But in the aftermath of the Second World War, it disappeared. It was probably destroyed by the US military, but nobody is sure. Honjo Masamune is revered for its mystical powers and unmatched craftsmanship. We then cut to a banquet hall in New York, 1947. It is an award ceremony given by Marshall College in honor of Dr. Henry Indiana Jones Jr. for his many years of archaeological preservation. Jones accepts the award and gives a modest but still very grateful and heartfelt speech. The audience applaud at the end of the speech. We then come back to his home, where he is then greeted at his front door by a Japanese courier holding a parcel. He gives the parcel to Jones. As he opens the parcel, we see that it contains an ancient Japanese scroll containing a cryptic message about information about the Honjo Masamune. He reaches out to Dr. Isabella Johansson, a brilliant historian specializing in Japanese artifacts. Johansson provides him with information regarding the possible whereabouts of the Honjo Masamune in Japan. Jones then decides to go and find the sword, but first he must assemble a team. Jones reaches out to his friend, Sallah Muhammad Faisal el-Kahir, for his skill in excavation, and Wanli aka Short Round, who since the events of Temple of Doom has grown up to become a skilled pilot and mechanic. Dr. Johansson comes along with Jones, Sallah and Short Round, since her expertise in Japanese artifacts, as well as some of the local customs, might prove useful. As the team sets out for Japan, they don't realize that someone else is after the Honjo Masamune. Hiroshi Tanaka, a ruthless and wealthy collector of artifacts, looted ones, is looking to add the Honjo Masamune to his collection. He sends out his strong, silent, muscle-bound henchman, Kenji, along with a gang of thugs dressed and armed like samurai to go after the Honjo Masamune by any means necessary. As our heroes navigate in search of the next clue that will eventually lead them to the ancient sword, they soon encounter a deadly swarm of Suzumabachi, a giant hornet that can be up to 4 centimeters long with a wingspan of 6 centimeters. These are very powerful and aggressive creatures, pretty much at the top of the food chain in Japan, preying upon almost any other insect out there. Although they can be found in cities, they are most commonly found in rural areas. This insect can dismember their victims with their powerful jaws. It is said that their saliva and venom have the ability to dissolve flesh. Their venom is extremely powerful and is injected through a 1/4-inch stinger. Their sting is extremely painful and requires hospital treatment. They are considered the most dangerous animal in Japan, with more than 40 people dying each year of anaphylactic shock after having been stung. Kenji and his gang of Tanaka's goons find Jones and his companions and gives chase. Jones and his companions manage to escape alive and unharmed. Kenji is the only henchman to have survived, as the rest are done in by the ravenous insects. Jones and his team then venture into a decaying Japanese temple, where they must find the second clue to the location of the sword. They dodge booby traps and other deadly barriers, including an anaconda. In case you forgot, Indiana Jones hates snakes, and that is a big snake. Once they retrieve the second clue, after killing the anaconda by decapitating it, they are confronted by Kenji, who knocks Jones out with one punch. As Jones starts coming to, he finds himself along with his companions in an opulent mansion somewhere in Tokyo. It is the home of Hiroshi Tanaka. Tanaka takes Indiana Jones and his companions on a tour of his collection of artifacts. Indiana, a very dedicated archaeologist, is disgusted by the fact that most, if not all, of his collection were looted. It is here we are presented with the heart of the story, which is the difference between archaeology and looting. Indiana Jones wants to preserve history, whereas Tanaka seeks to possess the sword for their own selfish gains. Since Tanaka has Jones and his companions in his grasp, he has the 2 clues. But Jones tells Tanaka he needs the 3rd clue. But Tanaka tells him that he already knows where it is. It is here we are next taken to the base of Mount Fuji. Tanaka and Kenji, along with Jones, Short Round, Sallah, and Dr. Johansson in tow, arrive at the base of Mount Fuji. Now, with all three of the clues in his possession, Tanaka recites a Japanese incantation. They find a cave at the base of the volcano, and it is in this cave that they uncover the Honjo Masamune. Once Tanaka touches the sword, an earthquake happens, and a massive explosion is heard from inside the cave. Mount Fuji is on the verge of an eruption. Seeing an opportunity, Tanaka orders Kenji to take Indiana Jones and his companions to be disposed of permanently. As they face certain doom in the depths of Mount Fuji, ever-resourceful Short Round manages to knock a thug into the lava pit below, thus causing another chain of events that allow Indiana Jones, Short Round, Sallah, and Dr. Johansson to break free and begin a terrific battle with Tanaka's thugs. Tanaka finds out that Jones and his friends have escaped, and he sends Kenji to kill him. Eventually, Kenji meets up with Jones, and they begin an exciting fight that ultimately leads to Kenji meeting his demise by being crushed by a giant lava bomb a la Wile E. Coyote. As Jones and his team escape the cave at the base of the volcano, just as a river of lava begins to belch out of its crater, Tanaka confronts Indiana Jones, and they engage in a sword duel with Tanaka armed with the Honjo Masamune, and Jones armed with a katana taken from one of Tanaka's thugs. The fight intensifies and intensifies until it looks like Tanaka gains the upper hand. With quick thinking, Indiana uses his trademark bullwhip to retrieve the Honjo Masamune. Eventually, Tanaka is killed in the lava flow, and Indiana Jones makes it to safety in a helicopter piloted by Short Round. As the dust settles and the eruption has subsided, Indiana Jones returns the Honjo Masamune back to Tokyo, where it can be preserved for generations in the years to come. Indiana Jones, Dr. Johansson, Short Round, and Sallah return home back to the States. Another adventure complete.